You're welcome to VINDAL'S concept. Remember, in solving quadratic equation, there are different approaches. We have quadratic factorization method, we have graphing method. We have use of formula, which is called the almighty formula. Which one people used to call it almighty formula, but it's not really almighty. But then we also have another one called completing the square method. So I want to solve this quadratic equation using completing the square method. If you are ready, grab your pen. Let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is step 1. In my step 1, I'm going to remove this 5. I'm going to make the coefficient of x squared to be 1. So step 1, make coefficient, please, just me use this abbreviation, x squared to be 1 by dividing through. So what I'm going to do, I have 5x squared minus 6x minus 3 equal to 0. To make this coefficient to be unity, I will divide this by 5, divide this by 5, divide this by 5, divide by 5. Simply put, divide both sides by 5. So this 5 divide itself 1, so x squared is 1 now. Then minus 6 over 5 all x minus 3 over 5 equal to 0. I have done step 1. So the step 2 is make sure that this constant is moved to the other side so that this left hand side will not be a complete square. It will not be a complete perfect square. So when I carry it to the other side of the equation, this side will no longer be a complete square. Then I will complete it. So what I will have is step 2, carry the constant to the right hand side, move the constant to the right hand side. So simply move, you may not call it to move, but since it's minus, then we are going to say adding 3 over 5 to both sides of the equation. When you do that, you simply say adding plus 3 over 5 to both sides of the equation. That is another way. Simply put, so I'm going to have x squared minus 6 over 5x is equal to 3 over 5. You know, carry minus to this side becomes plus. It's the same thing. Now you are done with this step. So I'm going to step 3. In the step 3, I am going to add something else to both sides in order to complete it. So in step 3, I'm going to add I'm going to add square of half the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x is minus, remember, pay attention to minus 6 over 5 is the coefficient of x. In order to find square of half, I'm going to have minus 1 over 2 times 6 over 5. This is half of the coefficient, but square of half means I'm going to square it. So I'm going to have minus 6 over 10 all squared, which is the same thing as, simply put, okay, let's divide this into this one, this into this is 3. So this is going to be minus 3 over 5 all squared. Now I'm going to add this to both sides of the equation. So I'll say to both sides. So when I add this to both sides of the equation, we take it to the next step. So I'm going to have x squared minus 6 over 5 minus 6x over 5 plus minus 3 over 5 all squared is equal to, the other one is 3 over 5 plus minus 3 over 5 all squared. So I've added minus 3 over 5 to both sides of the equation. So let's do, the next thing is to I'm calling this step 4. So in step 4, factorize. I've made this, the left hand side is now a perfect square, a perfect square, while this right hand side is just an expression or fraction. So what I'm going to do is to factorize this side and simplify this side. So factorize the left hand side and simplify the right hand side. So let us factorize it. In factorizing a perfect square, remember the first one has a square, the last term also has a square. So what I'm going to do is I will pick one because it's x times x that's giving you x squared. So there are two x multiplying each other. So I will take one x, I will take one of this x, then minus 3 over 5, then all squared. I have factorized it. These are the factors, and this is going to be equal to, this is going to be 3 over 5 plus 9 over 25. You know, when you square this, the minus will go. So 3 square is 9, 5 square is 25. So I'm going to simplify this part further by saying LCM of 25 and 5 is 5, it's 25 of course. 25 divided 5 is 5, 5 times 3 is 15, plus 25 divided 25 is 1, 1 times 9 is 9, and this is equal to x minus 3 over 5 all squared. So at this point, what I'm going to do is 25 plus 9 is going to be 24. So I'm going to have x minus 3 over 5 all squared is equal to 24 over 25. So in order to remove this power of 2, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So when I take the square root of this side, I will also say plus or minus square root of this side. So I have this, we cancel this, I have x minus 3 over 5 is equal to plus or minus 24 over 25. I'm using my calculator to find the value, and this is going to be 0.96. So at this point, I am going to make x the subject formula by moving it to this side. So this is x is going to be equal to 3 over 5 plus or minus 0.96. So 3 over 5, since I'm using decimal, 3 divided 5 is 0.6. So x is equal to 0.6 plus or minus 0.96. All right, so I'm going to do this for plus. I am also going to do it for minus. So I'm going to have, so if I add, x is equal to 0.6 plus 0.96. So x is going to be 1.56. That is the value when they are adding. When they are subtracting, I'm going to have 0.6 minus 0.96. Remember, we will do it for, we have plus and minus, so we do it for plus and also do it for minus. So when we subtract it, we are going to have minus 0.36. So x is equal to minus 0.36 or 1.56. Thank you for being part of this class. This is the solution to this quadratic equation by using method of completing the square. Thank you.